By the end of this short video, you'll be able to impress your friends by being able to solve your very first Rubik's Cube with the world's easiest method. Now, before we begin, you must understand how the pieces work and what pieces there are. This is a core, and it contains centerpieces with only one color, and all of these centerpieces cannot move independently from each other. So the green and the blue will always be opposite from each other. Same with the white and yellow and red. And next is an edge piece. It has two colors and two positions on the Rubik's Cube, up and down. Next is a corner piece. It has three colors and three positions on the Rubik's Cube. Now that we've got that down, we can start with notation. Notation is very important for many reasons, mainly so we can do algorithms so we can later solve the cube. So this is R and the opposite is R prime, just going down. And this is L, which is the opposite of R, and this is prime. Now on the top, this is U, and then this is U prime. On the front face, we have F and F prime, and at the bottom we have D and D prime. Now that we have basic movements, there are a few more, but we will cover that later. We can begin. So the method that we use to solve the Rubik's Cube, and the easiest method that we know, is called CFOP, which stands for us, F2L or first two layers, orientation of last layer, permutation of last layer, finishing the cube. With that out of the way, we can finally begin our journey to solving your first Rubik's Cube. Let's go. So get your scrambled Rubik's Cube that you've had in the attic for 10 years and let's get solving. To begin, we're going to need a yellow daisy. All the white pieces, and these corners don't matter. Take all the white edges to have white in another color and put them up to the yellow center. And then we'll talk about the cases that you can get while doing this that you might need a small algorithm to solve. Let's go. So now let's say that the last piece that you need, put it up here, but once you do 2 turns and put it in, the white piece is not next to the yellow center. So for this algorithm, you need to put the white piece that you need to put in here, right above the slot, and do the algorithm F, U, R, and that should get you finished with the crown. Once you have your daisy, find one of the white edges, just pick one, and look at the other color. So in this case, it's orange. We need to find the orange center that matches, so just rotate the cube until you find the center that matches. So this is orange white with orange white. Once you find it, you can just do F2 or 2 front turns and get it matching to the white and match the other center. Now go again with another center, and once you find the center and the edge that match, you can rotate the front face 180 degrees and have it matching. Repeat this until you have all the colors matching and have a white cross. And you have just now finished the first part of solving your first Rubik's Cube. Now for step 2, we're going to try to solve the first 2 layers. But for a beginner tutorial, we must start by the first layer. This first layer. Which means that we will take all the correct pieces and put them in the right place on the cube for the first layer. Like this. The first side is solved along with this first layer. This is very important that they all match in this triangle-like position, and the front face is solved. So in order to do this, you take edges, any edges, like let's say there's an edge right here. You look at these 2 colors on the corners And make sure it has white. Look at the two corners and find the two centers that match the two colors of the corner. And just put it right on top. And if white faces you on either way, you can do this algorithm, RU prime, looking at, and you'll eventually get it in. Same with any other pieces, like this one. Just can do this algorithm up to 5 times to get it into the correct slot. Let's say that the piece is already in position, but it's incorrect, or it's in a wrong position and still incorrect. Well, you can continue by still doing this algorithm just to get it out. And let's say it faces up, you can still do the exact same algorithm to get it in the slot. Just come back here and memorize this algorithm, and then continue this. Then you can continue the tutorial. Now, once you have this first side and the first row done, we're gonna need to get the second row done. And this is a little harder because you have cases like this, or it just doesn't really make sense. How would you get it in without disturbing these 3 layers? Now, before we begin the second layer, you must learn one last algorithm, which is main for lefties, and we'll just call it the lefty algorithm. So this is the righty algorithm, the one where you can get this corner down with your right hand. But there's also a left version, which is the exact same thing. So say you have this corner, just continue this algorithm. So it goes L prime, U prime, L, U, and continue this motion and memorize it. And then you can continue this up to 5 times to get it back here. Now that we got that down, we can begin to find pieces on the yellow face with the yellow center that don't have yellow. So this one has yellow, this one has yellow, this one also has yellow, but this one does not have yellow on the edge piece. So we're going to take the side that the corner is not facing yellow. So this blue would be facing yellow, but this orange is not facing yellow, it's facing green. And find the orange center. So it's right here. And so look at the top and find that center, which would be right here. Turn it 1 turn away from where it needs to go. So you would turn it the other way. And then you would do the righty algorithm. And then you can rotate the cube 90 degrees this way and do the lefty algorithm. And then you can get this pair right here. So let's say that there's an edge right here, but it's in the wrong space. It needs to be flipped over to this side. How would you get it out, and how would you put it back in? Well, you can do the same thing. You can do a lefty algorithm and then a righty algorithm to get it out. And then do this again, match the center with the edge. Turn it one turn away from where it needs to go. Do the righty algorithm, rotate the cube, do a lefty algorithm. And finally, what happens if this is the case? Like, it's in the right position, it just needs to be rotated. Well, you can do the exact same thing. Do a righty algorithm, then lefty algorithm. And then to get that in, match the center, turn it 1 turn away from where it needs to go, do a righty algorithm, do a lefty algorithm, and then you should have solved the first 2 layers, which you finished step 2. Now on to step 3, which is OLO. You're going to solve this yellow face. There are a few cases that have colors on top. This is a arrow, which to solve you need a algorithm. Now we're going to solve OLO, which is the top face. There are a few cases you could have. If you already have a cross like this, You should skip this step so far, but come back to it later. So there's a case where you have a arrow, a line, or a dot. And we'll just start with a line. So take those lefty and righty algorithms and do rotate the front face and do one righty algorithm and then counterclockwise. Then you should have a cross. But let's say that you have a dot. Do the exact same algorithm so that you get an arrow, and then do that one algorithm once again. And one important thing to keep note of is when you have an arrow like this, is make sure that the arrow is facing this direction. So you have an arrow up and an arrow to this side. When you do the righty, or if you're a lefty, you can do the exact same thing, just the opposite way. And once you have one of these crosses, you can do an algorithm called a soon. So let's just say we have this kind of cross we call headlights, and so just follow the algorithm on the screen. And you should have this cross with one extra block. And so now you take that block and put it either to the left or the right, depending on if this piece is facing you. So if it's on the right and it's facing you, then you should do a left soon. But if it's on the left side and this one is facing you, then you should do a right hand soon. So in this case, it's a left hand soon. So just like that. And you should have a covered face or finished OLO. But let's say that you have a this one. Just find one of these empty slots, and you can do either a right or a left, and just make sure that this yellow piece is facing you, and then you'll go to headlights. And there's also one more where it goes just a plain cross. You can just do the soon on any face, and it should get it you there. Those are the main cases. So we are gonna finish this last layer, and it requires a much harder algorithm, but we're looking for this. We're looking for two colors matching on the side and one not matching in the middle. Just one of those. And let's say you don't have that. Maybe you have something like this. Well, just do this simple algorithm on any face. Follow it on the screen. And that should get you maybe not one, but if you do it again on the same face, that should get you something where you have three in a row, or you have one that's mixed up like this. And so say you do have one of these, or maybe you have all of them like this, with one full bar and the rest of them are unsolved. We'll skip this part because we'll cover that later. So once you have this headlight type of thing with two matching on the sides and one unmatching in the middle, just pick, just rotate it so that it's not facing you in either direction, but for the algorithm that I just taught you, left, and do that same algorithm. That should get you here. And in case you are left, I'll do the left algorithm here. just like that. And then once you do the algorithm left or right, there's two cases that you could have. You could have this where all you need to do is swap these and swap these, or you could have a case where you need to swap these three, and you'd have a bar. So let's say you have this case with the bar and 3 unsolved faces. Make sure the bar is not facing away from you, and do this algorithm as I do it. And we're using new moves called M and M prime, which is just moving the middle layer. So let's just follow the orientation on the screen or copy what I do. And you have to do that either 1 or 2 times. And congratulations, you may have solved your first Rubik's Cube. But let's say you have this case where you just need to swap these and swap these. There is another algorithm you can do, but you can just do that exact same algorithm that I just taught you to get you to this place where you have a bar. In some cases, you will not have a bar at all, which is fine, because you could just do the exact same algorithm again, and it will get you to have a bar. I hope you learned something new. Like and subscribe, and keep cubing.